I'm in Orlando, Florida for the 9/12 summit. And last night I was standing with my kids here at the Disney parks, and we were watching the fireworks. And my 9-year-old girl, Cheyenne, looked up to me with tears in her eyes halfway through. She said, "Daddy, I'm growing up too fast." I had felt that all day with my kids. Walking around in the park, I realized this is really going to be probably the last time that it's truly magical. I return 4 years from now. My son will be 15. My daughter will be 14. It won't be cool to hold Dad's hand, and I won't be able to have her up on my shoulders. On that day, on that beautiful Tuesday morning, I think we all felt, "Daddy, I'm growing up too fast." But I would like to suggest that we didn't grow up at all. If I told you on September 11th that 14 years later we'd still be fighting a war, but we would be so lost as a nation that we would be so divided and we wouldn't even know what our soldiers were fighting for anymore, and most Americans wouldn't be able to name a single country that they were fighting in, then our soldiers wouldn't be able to tell you what we were even fighting for. If I told you 14 years ago that our government would view us, the American people, as the danger, and they would be spying on us and listening to us, they would have a security force beyond our understanding and recognition, and most of our allies would have abandoned us. If I would have told you 14 years ago, in a very short period of time, the Muslim Brotherhood will have infiltrated our government at the highest levels, and we will, 14 years later to the day, have our Congress debate on whether or not they should stand with the clerics in Iran over the nation of Israel, you would have said, "You're a madman." May I suggest that it's time for all of us to grow up? It's time for all of us to put away the things that make us hear the martial music, that have us stand and chant USA, USA, because it's meaningless. If I would have told you on September 11th, 2001, that in 15 years from now you will believe in almost none of the things that you believe in today, that your country will be so different that you will question every bit of our own history, you would have said that I was a madman. But may I suggest that's the best thing that has happened to us. Some of us have looked at our own history. Some of us have looked at what we've done and who we are and who we are and who we've said we were, who we thought we were, and who our government really was. The things that we have done over the last 100 years to other countries. Not to pay them reparations or not to go on a worldwide apology tour, but to learn from them. That's the important part of growing up. And may I suggest that we've been angry long enough, and that anger has blinded us to what we really should be doing. And what we really should be doing is identifying the problems that we have, the sicknesses that we have, and then identifying the actual enemies of man's freedom, not of our country, but of man's freedom. Identify the real enemies, the ones who are still today enslaving in the name of Allah women all around the world. They live in fear. They are property. We go and try to resurrect the arguments that Abraham Lincoln fought and died for. The arguments that we washed this country clean with our own blood 150 years ago. But we won't talk about the actual slavery that's happening today. We'll excuse it. We'll stand with it. We'll turn our eyes as our officers are shot, as we are threatened as a nation, as our recruiting offices are stormed, as our soldiers are shot on our own territory here in the United States, and we excuse it. We turn a blind eye. Why? Because we didn't grow up. America, grow up. We're better than this. And this is either going to destroy us, or we're going to do what all Americans have always done, and that is get the hell back up on your feet and dust yourself off, square your shoulders, know who you are and what king you serve, and serve him with all your heart and might and soul.